Welcome to episode 4 of the ECU podcast series, where we talk about the education industry and its insights. And I'm Amma Koralage, and today we have with us...
I'm Chaminda Ranasinghe. I'm the college principal, Edith, Cowan University, Sri Lanka campus.
It's a pleasure to have you on our platform, Mr. Chaminda.
My pleasure too.
And I think you're the ideal person to talk about the questions I have for you today. But if we can give a small background to our audience today, what can you say about you?
Absolutely. Can I take about an hour?
Of course.
So, professionally, I'm actually a molecular biologist with a little bit of history in neuroscience, data science, microbiology, plant pathology, genetics. So, list goes on. I'm a postgraduate from University of Kelaniya and Queensland University of Technology, Brisbane, and as well as Bangalore University. And at the moment, I'm the college principal of Edith Cowan University, Sri Lanka.
Thank you. You didn't take an hour there. Thank you very much. So my first question is, what is the importance of having a pathway in the current environment to obtain a degree?
Okay. So before we go into that why, let's look at where we are now. Exactly. Sri Lanka is a middle income country. And for a middle income country, we have been absolutely privileged to have free education for over 80 years, thanks to late CWW Kannangar. We have a special place for education. It's not just about financial gains. It's never been the financial gains. Yes, every country, education is important for all the trades, for investments and everything. Education is important. However, in Sri Lanka, we had a very different mindset, socially and culturally. Education for everyone, higher education, carries a certain privilege. But at the same time, being a middle income country, we cannot provide that higher education to everyone. Now, let's take Sri Lankan A-levels as an example. About 400,000 students face A-levels each year, and our university system can only take about 42,000. 40 to 42,000.
That's only a fraction of who seats.
Only about 10%. And then about 20 to 30,000 students go overseas for their education. And that's purely because they have the financial means to get the foreign education. Not everybody has that opportunity. Look at the education system. It's a single pathway. You start with your primary, O-levels, A-levels and to university. And there is no other chance for anyone to get into government universities with any other qualification. Only the government mandated education system. Now this may not fit everyone. Including our youngsters who are just coming out of schools, it may not work for everyone. So, for example, if you look at a bell curve of all population, yes, our students into a bell curve, not everyone fits in there.
Exactly.
Some are outliers, some are high achievers, some might struggle a little bit, who needs a special support. Not everyone in that middle path.
And by outliers, do you mean the ones who need to finish the process soon, or?
Exactly. Right. The people who require to finish that process soon, and at the same time, we can't forget people who cannot finish. It's the same speed, the medium speed that is designed for everyone, who requires special
support. So some are below average, some are above average.
Exactly. Yes. It's always there. So we have to look at these fractions as well. So when you look at the population as a whole, we need to focus on everyone, not just the majority.
That's right.
So if you're looking at the majority, the pathway is set for them. The government has a system for that, but then that majority, only 10% goes to university. So what are we going to do about the others? And this is where the pathways come into picture.
Exactly.
It's not just a faster process. It covers the ones who are falling out of the system, and is really important.
And I think it is also important that we create the platform where everybody is included, because like you said, education is not only it reflects on your social needs, about the prestige of having education, being included. So I think having pathways in our education system is important for that fraction of people, right?
Exactly. And the pathway, what it does, when you are not just falling out of the system, when you want to get that competitive edge going into the workforce, it gives you another process. The pathway is nothing but an alternative to getting into that process, because you're not just in the system getting pushed in the same speed as everybody else. It's giving you an opportunity to actually explore more with your skills and how you learn. And we are talking about learners here, right? So every learner learns in a different way. So if you are focusing and giving an opportunity to people who actually want to take that competitive advantage, pathway is the best choice.
Yes, I agree with you, definitely. And talking about that, I think we already had relevance to state education, private education, and then again there is this other entity called international education, right? Either you can study here at an international university, or either you can move abroad and have direct international education. So I'd like to ask you, when we say pathways and pathways offered from different institutions here in Sri Lanka, why is it important that you study a pathway program in an international university? Where can we pitch that?
Right. Now, when it comes to international universities, now I've been an international student in international universities.
I think
in the mainland of the university.
No?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the main campus in mainland, international student for over 20 years now. Now, one of the things you know about international universities is their constant research on how to offer their internet programs. Every university reviews their programs every year, and especially when it comes to international universities from Europe, US, Australia, their research is very current. Their pathway programs, their degree programs constantly get adjusted to the market out there. So when you're getting an international qualification or degree qualification, a pathway qualification from an international university, you're not just qualified, you're not just job ready, you're future ready.
That's
so you need to have all that in an extremely competitive environment like today. Sri Lanka is no longer isolated country. We are not just financially, we may be a middle income country, but Sri Lanka is not a country that is closed off. Everybody carries cell phones. Internet is approachable anywhere else in the world. People who are working online, providing services to countries who are in the other side of the world, which means in a global scale, we are very much directly connected to the communication and the finances in the world. So we can't isolate ourselves. So if that's the case, we are not just competing. When somebody is looking for a job in Sri Lanka, they are not just competing for a local population here. They are competing against the entire world, because somebody can somewhere in the world can take up their job. So your job, your qualification needs to be world ready. An international university is a best choice to get that.
That's right, Mr. Chaminda. So if I'm to ask you a little bit different question, is this helpful? Are the pathways helpful in accelerating your process of studying? Because I have heard out there about students who study pathways, who do A-levels, and some students who do it both at the same time. So what is your opinion about that?
Absolutely. It can accelerate your education. Now, of course, if you are going through a concurrent study system, depending on how whether you can achieve it or not, but pathway programs can definitely accelerate. Now we are looking at pathways with much less time compared to our traditional education system. As I said earlier, traditional education system is great to approach to majority.
Yes.
But when you want to take that competitive edge, you are looking at an accelerated education system.
Process.
Definitely you need to go through that accelerated, otherwise you're going to get bored.
Yeah, the frustration is
The
really
frustration
there, no?
definitely going to come, because you are a high achiever and you want to get,
and you wonder, why am I stuck in the average speed of the process?
you don't want to.
Yes.
And you want to get into the competitive market at an early age. Definitely, because you know that you can achieve that. And then why do you go through that system? It doesn't mean that the current system is flawed.
Yes.
Doesn't mean
But
that.
I think the systems are made in such a way that most people can be included into
Exactly.
it, right?
It is there. But you're absolutely right. Acceleration is a part of the pathway programs. Yeah. If there is no acceleration to your studies, getting your degree much earlier than somebody else, maybe you can go into postgraduate studies and get your PhDs at a younger age.
The path
that
is,
privilege.
yes, definitely. So if I'm to also ask you about, we already spoke about the international education and where international universities provide pathways. So if I'm to talk a bit about the Edith Cowan University pathway programs here, what can we say about that? As the college principal, I'm sure you're the ideal person to comment on that. So
yeah, absolutely. Now, our pathway programs are in two parts. We have a foundation level pathway, which is not equivalent, which is an alternative. Again, looking at that Sri Lankan O-levels and A-levels as a single pathway to university, we have an alternative to students who do not fit into that same system. We have that. And then we have a diploma program for students who cannot go to university directly. Now, why we have this, again, another thing that we need to think about. We constantly talk about students who are coming out of schools.
Yes.
What about the people who have already left school long time ago, who have gone into job market?
Definitely,
now wanted to come back for education? That standard system does not support them. It's not inclusive.
Yes,
for
and
them.
Their schedules also do not align.
They don't align.
Yes.
They don't align. There are weekend learners. There
Yes.
are afternoon, evening learners.
Definitely.
So this system needs to attract people. So our programs are designed in a way that it attracts anyone who's not being included into the standard system. So this is why our pathway program, and as I said earlier, we have learners who can only commit their time during the evenings.
Yes.
We have degree programs for that. We have weekends for working crowd. When you're working, doesn't mean that you have to work in that job for your whole life. You can get a bachelor's degree. Maybe you're doing a clerical job. What about you want to become a molecular biologist?
Yes.
Then you have an opportunity to study in weekends and then go through the university and get yourself a degree.
And some people want to take turns in their careers also after some time. No?
Everybody has the right to take that. You want to be you were a doctor, you want to be a cafe owner, absolutely, there is an opportunity. You want to be a barista, go and be a barista.
Yes.
Now, the thing is, you need to have the opportunity to be a barista.
Yes.
Not just wanting to be a one, but you need
the background and the education to be that.
You need to have the space to learn as well.
And also, Mr. Chaminda, I have heard about having general foundation programs where you just do a general foundation and you step into your degree program or whatnot you want to do. And also there are certain foundation programs that is specified for a certain subject itself. Yeah. But at Edith Cowan University, the college, what we offer is specified foundations and specified diploma programs. Am I right?
Yes, we have a specified foundation programs. Now, normally foundation programs are good enough to get into any program,
right?
Any degree program, and that's usually the premise of any foundation program. Just like Sri Lankan A levels or London A levels.
Like you said, it's an alternative.
It's an alternative.
It's balanced out.
Yeah. However, when it comes to diploma level, it's a specific pathway. So we have 5 pathways in ours. So engineering. So anyone who wants to become an engineer at some point, we have engineering pathway. So foundation to diploma is a pathway through the engineering programs. anyone wants to be a biomedical scientist, we have a diploma program for biomedical science. Commerce, business, economics, you have a pathway for that, or international relations, we have a diploma program for that. And then we have communication and creative industries. It's a very hot topic. From game design to game story design.
Definitely.
Is a completely different area at the moment. It's a hot topic. We have a program for that. And finally, we also have IT, which is at the moment is the most selling program around the world when it comes to finding necessary talent. IT programs is highly paid, and there's great opportunity not just in Sri Lanka, around the world. So we have actually within our diploma programs, I'm quite confident to say that regardless, there are a plethora of different degrees and qualifications out there, not just at Edith Cowan University in Perth, any university in Australia, any university in Europe and US. Our diploma programs, just 5 diploma programs, and the foundations prior to that is a perfect entry.
So, Mr. Chaminda, I think you said it all. There's nothing more that is left for me to say. So for you, if you want to be the hero that you have already planned in your mind, you know where to go. So, hoping to see you in the next episode where we talk about the education industry and its insights. Signing off, this is Amma Kodlage, and thank you, Mr. Chaminda, for being with us here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.